Hello, everyone. We are starting a live stream here. I'm gonna give some comments on the market here. Okay, post this. Um, um, let me get some links up here and then we'll get started. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing well. It's a tough market, Um, there's a lot of people that were trying to buy calls off the open. They were looking for a continuation out of Nvidia. They got caught with their pants down chasing some of these pumps off the open, especially on like Apple and Google. And the first thing that I really want to point out is, we got a free newsletter, and on the 18th, 2 days ago, we talked about exactly what is happening today. Looking for the dump after the Nvidia earnings and talking about how the market looks here. And I also wrote a big short thesis on how I think OpenAI is probably going to zero, probably going to fail. So if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, I would go check it out. Especially for those who think, oh, Josh just got lucky. Go read my thesis and see if you still think I just got lucky with the sell-off that we got today, because it's been it's not a one-off thing that we're selling off after Nvidia earnings. This is what we've been seeing. This has been the trend. So it's nothing really new from the market. We're having one of our biggest up days ever, especially for the small account. And I guess I'll go ahead and share that here. As you can see, we're up $1,000 in the small account today. So that's up like 25%. Pretty massive day for us there. And I just want to take some time to go over some charts. I've locked in a lot of profits, and we might do some trading to fit depending on how these bounces go. Especially with like Tesla here at the 65-minute. I don't even know if we're gonna get the full back test to 410, which is the best entry to get short again. Apple here is actually a trigger under 266 for a further extension. We should actually go. Let's do basics. Let me do this just to show you guys what it looks like to kind of anticipate what the move will be for the day. So we can go to the average true range here, which tells us how much does the SPY index typically move in one day. And as you can see, it's 242% over its typical daily movement. So we've pretty much cleared out all the ranges to the downside here as well. Actually, let's take this to here, map that out. So yeah, we actually cleared all the upside with the pop-up, and then we cleared them all to the downside as well. If we look at the larger structure here, actually, let me get this out of the way because it's very noisy on the chart. Go to the 65-minute here, and we can see, okay, we pretty much got a denial at this major key level, this 674, which this is where you can kind of look for those longs. And it tried really hard over these recent highs to get long here and then puked. So now you need to really watch this trend line here, because if this fails, which all indications here look like it will fail. I mean, the 65-minute was actually trying to set up bullish, and it just got rugged hard. 4-hour bearish here, daily bearish here, 2-day just now giving the bearish confirmation. So the 2-day TTM has flipped bearish, which is like a confirmation of the daily here. So there's no signs of bullishness here. Weekly still rolling over. In fact, the weekly TTM is at 20. So it could literally give a confirmation maybe tomorrow. Even if we get another selling like today, tomorrow. I mean, just even look at the way this weekly, we've been these very, very toppy candles here, and now we're getting a full capitulation under the bullish EMA on the weekly. So a task to 631 is totally doable. Usually I talk about this in terms of SPX, so let's go over here. Now what I'm looking for is potentially we just bottom at 655 1, and that would be an ABC. We measure that by using the fib extension tool, and that's not much lower than we are right now, right? So yeah, actually there's even potential that we've already bottomed here. That was a perfect 1-to-1 at the 65.82. However, I'm not seeing any confirmations that that's a true bottom, so I'd be looking for a continuation to the downside. 60.55.50. Below that, that's when things get really ugly, and 6,400's on the table. That would be about a let's get this pulled up. Let's see what that would be. That's still only a 6% down move. And below that level, that's when you start looking for 6,300, 8%, potentially to probably 10%. 10% here at 6,200, you get massive support. There is massive support here. And I'd probably even be a buyer as well, especially on names like NVIDIA and MU. So let's kind of look at this, okay? And see if we can find. Oh, by the way, if that pans out, what this really is if we get that low, then A is probably down here. B will probably be something that brings us here, and then C will be the final move. And you'll see 3-wave patterns like we are right now, seeing like these 3-wave patterns. Actually, A would be here, B would be here, C would be here, type of move. So starting to get some bounces. Bounces, I think, are entries to get short again in a very weak market. I am going to really quickly check and see if there was any news. And you know what? Another sign of the selling today was this. Bitcoin looks extremely weak. And I even closed my shorts here too early because it kept getting extended on the daily. But things are reaching extreme levels of sentiment when they don't get bounces after getting extended to the downside. It's like the way Bitcoin plunges here, and instead of getting that reversal touch, which it often does, like this is a big reversal touch, instead of just kind of trade sideways until it meets it, this ended up creating a double bottom. Not the best example, then it faked out. But down here is when it starts to get extreme, right? Plunges, just trade sideways until the EMA meets it. That's a big yikes. So my next key level, the key levels we've been watching are 90K, 84,000, and then 72,000 is where I think there's massive support. And that's again using the fib extension tool from various highs and lows and looking for where the confluence is. Ethereum was outperforming Bitcoin, but not to the downside. It's flipped back over. And so this is looking pretty dangerous for Ethereum. And actually, let's real quick just go over. Like we have the weekly bearish confirmation, and we've broke the 2024 support for Bitcoin. So this doesn't look like a pullback I'd buy. In fact, it looks like the bearish structure is completely broken. And I see a lot of people who are really good traders that are looking to buy this at like 80,000. I'm just not a buyer here. Quite honestly, people like Rob Powell are talking about like we're still in the banana zone. Like this is nothing to fear. Our monthly is now rolling over. The monthly RSI structure is already bearish. It's about to get even more bearish. And your monthly TTM is about to roll over as well. And I think everyone is ignoring how retail driven Bitcoin crypto is, and how badly hurt the crypto crowd is right now. Because if you look at the market, AI's done a great job of covering up the real economic weakness. So, give us a few Fed cuts and maybe some QE next year, and it'll recover. But for now, it's just not something I buy into, man. It looks awful. So we'll kind of go through these names. If there is a name you'd like me to chart, go ahead and post a ticker down below. Down below. I'm on several social medias, but go ahead and post them in the chats. I'm gonna make sure I get them all up here. I don't have Kick up on my screen. Let me make sure I got that Kick chat up. Okay. All right. So if you've got a ticker you want me to look at, go ahead and put it in one of the chats below, and I'll check back them in a few. And we're just going to run through these. MU was one of the top shorts I took this morning. Made some massive returns. It was the first position this morning that we put size on. Big thing here is it was already relative weak, had the looks of a blow off top on the daily, and we've traded this same structure repeatedly the entire earnings season. If you go through and you look at Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Oklo, IonQ, even, they all had similar structures to this. The daily candle that pushes to a new high, then retraces most of that candle, is a death candle for rallies. And so from there, it's been pretty much downside. It bounced right into the bearish EMA after the NVIDIA earnings, along with the rest of the market, before plunging back to the downside. And let me just say, again, now that people are starting to pile into the stream, I highly recommend, I saw a lot of people trying to buy calls and FOMO into this. Look, I write a free newsletter. It's completely 100% free, no gimmicks, no traps, nothing, okay? And, 2 days we wrote about that this selling was going to be the most likely outcome after NVIDIA earnings. So, we wrote it. Here's that newsletter on November 18th. And so full analysis and trade thesis and everything there on that newsletter. So go check it out. It's completely free. I'm seeing here only 78 people read it. Like, it's newer, but I would like to see some more people being saved from rugs like this, because in my opinion, this was very obvious outcome. If you look at MU here, though, you're about to break this support. The daily TTM's about to flip to the downside, and you're getting confirmation from the 2-day as well. So from here, we'd go to look at the weekly, and we'd say, okay, 197 is kind of your last line of defense. If you break that, you might be going all the way to 151, which is really not too atypical for these AI names. I know it might feel weird because of all the AI hype, but you just want to be thankful for the market. You really just want to say thanks for the dip, because a dip like that, I'm a huge buyer. I'm buying leap calls off of that. But we'll see. Take it level by level on the way down. This looks completely broken. Weekly's rolling over. Massive death candle like this on the weekly. These usually don't resolve in one candle. You could see something like this, but I wouldn't expect it, based considering the length of this upside move, and especially the short time frames weren't giving the same confirmation we got here. So be a little cautious here on MU. We can also look at NVIDIA here. NVIDIA, same thing. This NVIDIA tried to break out of this trend line here on the weekly, and it's puked up the entire move, now being shoved back under. So really what you want to watch for NVIDIA to see if 180 gives out. And actually I should have an alert there, because I was talking about that to the Discord earlier today or yesterday. Under 180, this is an amazing short, quite honestly. And it should come back to 165, where it becomes a buy. This is a really extremely ugly candle. Got the pop, completely failed the pop on the day, getting shoved under the EMA convergence. This is not a buy. This is a sell here. Things are a bit extended on the day, so like I've closed most of my puts, which is why I decided to go live and go over some charts. But bounces here are entries for more short positions, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and look at something like Palantir as well. Palantir's another one I'm eyeing. Palantir was actually a beautiful setup. If we go to the daily here, we could see that we bounced into the bearish EMA, and we had been traveling below it for a while now. So taking the short today at 174, even at 172, I'd say you're not front running the move, and having a pretty tight stop at 176 is a beautiful risk reward trade that we took today as well. Sold it a bit early because the extensions to the downside took us off guard. But, we can see here on the 65 minute, we can bounce another 5 points before a continuation lower as well. I don't, with the weakness we've had, I don't think you're actually going to get that, but it's totally possible with the VIX so high that you get wild moves like that. Maybe we bounce and then we roll back over all before the day is done. There's still 3 hours left of the market being open. You see SPY here on the 15 minute, just now testing the bearish EMA that it was pretty extended from. We can actually look at the 65 minute here. 65 minute says you can bounce this 665 and still be in the bearish path, and kind of understanding how far the market has to breathe for some of these. It's really important for, especially intraday traders. So Palantir gets really ugly. The next major level is 155 here. You can see the weekly is about to roll over, and we already have confirmations from the 2-day. So this 2-day is telling me, under the bullish EMA support, maybe we get something like this, which I believe was the weekly support. Yeah. So maybe you see something like this, the V-shaped recovery out of the hole. But I think that's my base case here, is that we're probably going to the 140s. And I'll be looking to continue to short this down until we get that outcome. And by the way, you start breaking this support and things get extremely ugly. I don't think it'll happen. Nothing's impossible, especially when you have major liquidity issues, and most of this fear is being driven by OpenAI fears. Just fears about the service AI providers. So if you haven't read that, go read my latest newsletter. It's the big short thesis. It's the short thesis that actually makes sense, not the short thesis that NVIDIA is just a big fraud, or not that low tier analysis that Michael Burry did. That was really lazy analysis. Yeah, NVIDIA is an incredible company. It's probably going to go to 10 trillion. Don't let this, don't be bullish here, but don't become a perma bear here. I don't think there's any reason to be a perma bear. Let's see if we got any chart requests. Let's see. Netflix. We can look at Netflix. Netflix looks absolutely. That's a tough spot for Netflix. And this thing's actually really cheap to trade again. So you had the daily try a flip here. And actually we took a long here recently up into this bearish EMA, and then I paused. We actually played this candle to the upside. And as you can see, I have an alert set here to see if we got a continuation the next day. That's completely given up. So quite honestly, if you pulled up a chart of what a euphoric market looks like, this is nearly a exact replica where you get these failed bounces here before the real downside move occurs. So the daily flipping positive and then getting an instant denial. Let's see what the 2-day looks here. The 2-day, same thing. 2 days giving full confirmations to the downside. RSI structure looks awful. Same with the weekly. Weekly, you're losing your bullish EMA on the weekly. The Netflix is actually a top tier short. Let's go ahead and turn this key level into an alert here. That's really ugly. That's extreme levels of weakness. I actually have a thesis on why that might be the case with the new Gemini AI video. It's so funny. I've been sharing this thesis about the video capabilities of AI, and I've shared it with hedge fund managers, with top Twitter accounts, with Discord members, wrote it about in the newsletter, everything, and everyone thought, I don't know about that. Lynn Alden just yesterday, did a podcast shared the same exact thesis, and everyone's praising her for like, that's a great thesis. Yeah, I never even thought about that. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be huge. Man, fuck y'all. Fuck all of you. I've been talking about that shit for weeks, assholes. Anyways, uh, let's talk about. Let's look at some more charts. Yeah, actually, let's look at the Netflix in the short term. Maybe I want to short this right now. It doesn't look bad right now, quite honestly. They only just flipped here. Let's look at the option contracts. It's a little bit extended. But I think looking for that retracement to 108 is a bit of a pipe dream. No, it's pretty oversold on the 65 minute. You could get a bit of a retrace. We got the alert below. Let's set the alert above and see if we can kind of come test this. Maybe I even just want to come at $8 at 108. I think I want to come at like 108. I'll come in and I don't care if I get chopped up a little bit on the entry. We're looking for the bigger idea. I mean, I don't want to miss it. Let's see what's being priced in these options now. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, you're pricing in a 5-point move over the next week. Bring you to 100. But this chart looks like, I mean, below this level, you're probably going to 99. So it's they're probably mispriced here. It's actually not a terrible idea to buy, but I'll wait for the actual triggers. But we got any more charts? Send them my way. Send them my way. We also had, as more people pile in, some people might have missed the intro, but we're having the best day ever on the small account. So for the small account, we're up 400% now. While a lot of people are struggling. I don't know if I should do a Black Friday deal or not, but we'll talk about that later. I haven't made up my mind. I really don't want to do any more sales, honestly. We're already cheap as is for what we do. I have a request here for FSLR. I don't know, man. Solar's been this. I mean, it looks more bullish in the broad market. You got that going for you. This is a tough name to trade with how volatile it is, but I don't hate Solar. I'm actually curious. I want to see what TAN looks like here. I just want to get a broad idea of the sector. I mean, yeah. I mean, this looks like a dip you want to buy. You got a major breakout out over 54 that's probably going to come soon, maybe next year. Your monthly is just now breaking out on TAN. I'm going to set some alerts here. I might throw this in my long term at 41. I'm going to set another one at 44 for review to make sure I don't miss this move. You don't have to come all the way back to 40, but TAN looks really good. FSLR, let's check the monthly on this one. Like this looks really good, man. You know, over 300, this turns into a giant cup and handle as well. You are really extended here on the monthly. So honestly, look for that 221 pullback, and then a massive bounce off that would be absolutely gorgeous. The weekly's really bearish here. Yeah, 221 brings it. You'd break the daily. Your weekly would come back. Yeah, I'd keep an eye here. I'm gonna start setting some. Let's set some alerts on the way down here, and then I want to set an alert here for review and see how this kind of shapes up. It's bearish right here. It's not a buy right here. You know, if you can reclaim 263, it might be a buy. But I'd let it rest. I do really like this long term though. Yeah, I would keep an eye on solar. This looks really, especially that monthly looks really good. I wonder what like XOM looks like here. Energy might be the buy on the dip. So like XOM is starting to pick up on the monthly as well. And you have this like beautiful consolidation here. Near the high. So it's already pulled back and defended a few times. Weekly here, still bullish. Daily a bit weak. You know, when you don't have good influence there, it means you're probably going to get a continuation of sideways price action. But I'd set an alert here over that high. Could probably bring it even a little bit lower, 123. Energy looks really interesting here. Wow. Even with the relative strength while the market pukes. Yeah. You had a good eye looking at solar here. I think thematically this is going to look really good. Let's actually look at real quick. Let's look at UAR. Well, that weekly looks freaking awful. And the daily, this is completely dead. Okay, so energy will be interesting, but uranium won't. This might come all the way back to $30. That does not look good at all, man. Outright bearish. Came right back to the bearish EMA, top of that bearish EMA, and puked back under it. Let's look at CCJ. You know, I thought uranium had been over its skis. You know, we've been talking about this for weeks. How I sold CCJ into this and got irritated when it popped higher. But you know, now it looks like a great exit. You don't have to time highs perfectly or even time lows perfectly to make a lot of money. You just gotta be with trends. Yeah, this is setting up to be a really nice short under 80. Your weekly's about to flip. Let's look at the short-term time frames. I'm gonna put this on now. That's a great back test before finding more lows. 65 minutes says maybe bounce to 68, but the 65-minute TTM is about to flip. I'm gonna put this on. Actually, I'm gonna come for like December 5th. Or not. Oh, it's just lag on loading here. I don't really want to buy weeklies. I probably can. I really don't like the spreads. 75 gives me yeah, so let's take it. If you've been watching me for a while, I'm gonna buy the 75 for December 19th. I'm probably giving it more time than necessary. But I just want to give it some time. Yeah, I like that. You know, it's pricing an 11-point move, and I think we could definitely do a lot more damage than that there. Palantir on the 15-minute. I need to adjust these to the 65 minutes to kind of understand. See, man, we're extended on that 65-minute, but all these TTMs are just now rolling over and giving bearish confirmations on the 65 minutes. Like, I don't even know if we're going to get a real bounce on the day. We don't have to at all. We could just get a further extension to the downside. I really quick actually want to review Apple here because I had a lot of Apple shorts and I rolled some, and I think I want to add to that roll here. It's like a perfect back test that's getting a denial. They're kind of eating up this bearish candle though, so let's see how they handle it from here. And then let's look at the daily. This is a tough chart. This is going to be easiest under 265. But I kind of want to dance with the devil a little bit, get in a little bit early, because I feel like Apple's hitting a major top here. Weekly rolling over. See here, if this becomes a high and we get a major retracement lower, like you didn't get momentum confirmations on the monthly here from Apple. You haven't even really gotten, I mean, as far as momentum goes, to confirm new highs, you would like RSI kind of steadily over time pushing higher and higher to give that momentum confirmation. And you really haven't gotten it since 2020. And I wouldn't count something as far back as 07 because you do see that we get this downtrend, but then it resets. And on the weekly 2019, no new confirmation at the top since then. Daily topped in 2024, late 2024. So this could be a pretty massive blow off top here. Is what I would be looking for. Is what I am looking for. And why I am short. I'm just looking to add to shorts. I think I do want to add to shorts here soon. Let me look at how they're priced. You know, we could go to 270 again, but I don't even know if that's really in the works. I wonder what the 4 hour looks like here. I mean, that candle's so freaking ugly. This is trying to flip, but we have great short-term confluence, so it should flip it back bearish. 30-minute coming back. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things that say test 370 and then puke. But that's only a $2 stop from here, so 371 would be the stop. So I'm going to roll this down a bit. Yeah, I mean, I can get a 15 delta for under $1. Let me buy up a few of these. And look for that continuation to the downside. Actually, let's give it a little bit of time. 115. I'm gonna go for December 5th. 252.5s. What do I own right now? I own the 260s for the November 28th. Yeah, let's add these. This account. I'm not taking a ton of size on this. So in the small account, I literally just bought one. Which I guess I could, we could just a quick break from charts and I can share this, make sure it's cut off. Okay. Oh, boop. Yeah. So, it's a cash account. So that's why this reads negative because I'm trading with an unsettled balance. You know, I won't break the good faith valuation, but we're up $955 today. Overall profit loss year to date, which we didn't start this in January. We started this, actually, I don't know. It's been 3 months. Maybe it's been 2 months. We're up 400% over the last 2-3 months. Maybe it's been longer than that. I don't know. I have no clue, quite honestly. Yeah, but we're up 3,500. We just hit 4,500. And this is where small accounts get really fun because now we've got a lot of padding. This is where we could really start to accelerate growth. Yeah. Well, not really have any other comments besides that. There's some positions in here bleeding me. ANGX calls are bleeding me. But I still like it. We got plenty of time on that. I have some calls all the way out to April. I absolutely love that last earnings. And I am completely fine with the stock ignoring it for now. In fact, when this selling gets done, I'll probably load the bag. Pretty big on ANGX. Bull has earnings tomorrow. It's also looking really oversold, so I think it could run against the market just because it's so beaten down and ignored where it's at right now. And Carvana is just a total piece of shit. Carvana rugged me on the premiums, and even with this massive pullback today, that thing is not coming back to me, which is fine. You're gonna have losers, right? And as I mean, pretty obviously, like, you know, we're up $950 today. We're up $3,500 overall. Like, those losers are negligible to our P&L, even in a small account. I mean, this thing's starting to roll over on the monthly finally. It's just there's so many passive funds that hold this. And just kind of steadily buy more. And there is a lot of retail that loves to trade this in the short term because of the volatility. And that kind of makes these intraday moves brutal because every time this thing bounces, it gamma squeezes. Especially on like a weekly basis, which makes it tough. And your daily's about to flip here, quite honestly. Even today wasn't enough to get it to reverse. 2 days doing the same, so that might come back to me. It might not. It's more of a fundamental trade, to be quite honest. Which I don't know. I've beaten that to death. Let's do some more charts here. I've talked about that more than I need to, or should. I want to beat a dead horse. We got any more tickers? I'm checking through the chats. I don't know this one. Or maybe I do know this one. Is this the aviation stock? It is. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing's on my drone watch list. All right. Oh yeah, right at the top. I am aware of this one. Your weekly's just not breaking. It's just not giving bearish confirmations here. Yeah, pretty much under that low a day is a great short setup. And then weekly would send you probably $1 lower, maybe even lower than that, depending on what this monthly looks like. The monthly's still holding up. So you might get a quick plunge to like 11 or 10 and then a V-shaped recovery out of the hole there. How'd this earnings go? Not profitable. They beat revenue by 500%. Must have been like a one-time payment thing because the market didn't care at all. Yeah, man. I mean, just look the way the support's defended. You break that, it's a great short. As simple as that. I mean, you can buy. Look, everything kind of comes down to risk reward, right? So if you came to me and said, well, I want to be a buyer here with a tight stop at that key level there. Okay, I mean, that's a great risk reward. I don't think it's a high probability outcome, but the risk reward is good enough to put on like a small sizing. If you get confirmation of a bounce, then pile into it, right? You can probe a position, see if it works, you know, a small sizing, and then load it up once you get the confirmations. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't think it's even, for me, it wouldn't be worth the attempt. But again, I have no fundamental convictions on this. I don't really know it that well. It looks like I knew it enough to throw it in this watch list, and that was about it because I didn't even recognize the ticker. Let's see. We got any more? Shop, sure. I'll look at shop. That's a brutal. This is exactly. Let's look at this on the daily here. But that weekly has the same exact setup for like when I went. I just a pretty ugly denial of a new high actually, where it rolls over. You just hate to see this. You hate to see this at tops where a candle goes green, gets really extended from the EMA, and then you give up most of that candle. Like reading price action. I don't care what chart you're looking at. You're looking at a 1 minute chart, 15-minute chart, 65-minute chart, daily, weekly, monthly, 3-month, 10-month chart. If you see a candle like that, where you're at a high and you give up most of the candle, my gosh, be worried, because there's a high probability that's a pretty major top that just got set. So I see that on the weekly, and it's so ugly. 2 days giving confirmations of the sell-off. Yeah, you came and you tested your bullish support here, and then you puked it right back up. Monthly still looks very much intact. So this does look relatively, this has strong relative strength against the broader market here, which is good. Your weekly RSI structure really isn't that bad. So, maybe 129 is what you come back to. Maybe. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if this thing kind of just like consolidated here. And maybe you got a quick plunge that resolved pretty quickly within a week. Maybe just a tap here at this previous support. Below that, though, below this level, this 129 level, if you're like a long-term holder, that's where I would be selling some calls, maybe buying some puts and putting on some serious hedges, because below there it gets dicey. This is a big level for the market here. Okay, there's a lot of memory at this price, so you're going to see some capitulation, and it's going to get really ugly below that level. So be mindful of that. We got any other ones? TLT. Man, just with the environment we're in, bonds don't have I just don't think there's a fundamental case. The Fed's been cutting, and these things aren't getting. And right now, let's do top-down view. The Fed is uncertain of a cut in December. What will make them certain of a cut in December? Market wants the cuts, very obviously. What will make the Fed cut? Crash in the market. If they take this down another 2, 3, 4, 5%, you'll get your cut. And market wants the cut. So, and that comes in December. We're in a tight liquidity environment. China just put out a bunch of really competitive AI models that were built with, 5% of what it costs to build GPT, yet they are comparable performance. 50% of American corporations use open source. They're actually not open source, open weight AI models. That's bearish, right? That's about as bearish as it gets for OpenAI. Like, I don't think OpenAI makes it. When OpenAI blows up, it could blow up private markets. But the AI story will still be very much alive. Like, all the AI infrastructure will still be very much alive and very necessary to support all the AI models that will make it forward, And even OpenAI won't go anywhere. Microsoft will just buy it on cheap, right? And then they'll have two amazing AI models, Anthropic and OpenAI. But that's what's going on. Like, the liquidity issues right now are the big driver. And then you also have this AI narrative that's not become mainstream, but I think rapidly will. Especially when more people start to become aware of how many American corporations aren't using American AI. They're using Chinese AI models because they're so much cheaper to run. And, if your usability is only 2, 3, 4% better, but it's 10 times cheaper, people are going to go with what's cheaper and more lightweight to run. So, yeah, it's not necessarily bullish. Jensen made that comment saying that China's ahead in AI. Then he walked it back and he said, well, they're milliseconds behind us, right? And he walked it back. And that's probably because we do lead in the hardware, But when it comes to making these new AI models, it's being proven that these things don't have modes. It's super easy to just fire up an AI model, train it off one that already exists, and have that thing up and running in a heartbeat. It's just the reality of what it is. So yeah, I'd be cautious with the storyline here. And I don't think it's over, but we're entering into a saga, an AI race. AI race very much alive. There's going to be ups and downs and valleys and peaks, and it's going to be crazy, and you got to be trading those, It's not going to be fully up. You know, we're in a violent competition. So yeah, looks like Apple wasn't able to reclaim there. So those shorts are working pretty well here. We added these, yeah. So we're up 23% right now on those ones that we just took. So that's cool. Creeping up towards 1,000 P&L on the day. I see some people subscribe to the newsletter. I'll just say it because we've got like 100 more viewers than we did earlier when I mentioned it. 2 days ago, I wrote a full newsletter on how what is happening right now was my base case scenario for what would happen after NVIDIA earnings. A pop that I then looked to short. And that's exactly what we did today. That's why even just on this small account, we're up $1,000. You know, we came in today with like 3,500, right? This account started with like 1,000. I mean, extremely profitable day. And actually the best trade of the day here, and I'll talk about this, was I loaded up the 669 puts for December 5th at the high. Why'd I do that? Let's actually just do this. A little lesson here. Why'd I do that? Let's go to extended hours. Hold up. Netflix gave a trigger. Whoop. Pause the lesson. So Netflix really starting to break this. I want to take this in the main account. I don't think I want to take it in the small account, and we don't share the main account. I don't really want everyone knowing my exact net worth. Okay, let's see here. I want to take this. What did we talk about? We talked about 99. We could probably do that in 15 days. Oh, I still got a 21 delta. Oh, it's only 6 points out the money. I'm not used to this thing post split. Okay. It's so cheap. Okay. I bought the 100s for December 5th. And let's see if we get follow through here. Stop being it's a pretty wide stop to be honest. So I did take it a little bit smaller. I bought a small bag of those. You know, it's pretty tempting. Let's take another look at Apple here. You're about to break the low a day. Is the 65-minute rolled over yet? 65-minute just rolled over. Yeah, let's see if we can break 265. That's where selling accelerates. Okay. Back to the lesson plan. What was I talking about? Why I sized up huge at the high for SPY. There's kind of a it's actually more nuanced than I guess I'm giving it credit for. But off the open, NVIDIA is getting no bids, and it's rolling over. Apple was getting huge buys. Google was getting huge buys off the open. I was noticing Microsoft kind of MU melting NVIDIA weak off the open. It wasn't melting yet. I took the MU position first thing in the morning, and then I'm watching NVIDIA, and I'm the main driver. What should be leading the way to the upside is not budging. So then I want to get short. I'm looking at the recent highs, last week's Friday's highs. We're getting close to that. We're getting extended on the 15-minute chart, and then I went ahead and took the short. Because as soon as we start to drift from this, I take the short, I take it with major size. When we got the retracement, I started to take some partials because that's the easy money to just look for the quick back test here. And then on shorter time frames on the 5-minute here, this is a beautiful top. So this is called an evening star, this type of price action, a bullish followed by this hammer, and the next candle's bearish. It's a great top way to pick tops. You actually got two here. So if you're a futures trader and you see this is also a good short. For this candle, as soon as this candle swallows up the top top signal candle, that's a good short. And then this is a good short as well. So on the shorter time frame, that's also good price action. Or yeah, good price action to read. Candlestick reading, price action reading, however you want to refer to it, it's all the same shit, right? If you got a question about that and that explanation that makes sense, let me know. We can go in greater detail. But you know, I think you guys get it. I don't want to talk too much and lose viewers because people are freaking bored because I'm being too repetitive. So I won't talk it to death. If we got more, let me see. We got more tickers you guys want to look at? Google. Okay, we can look at Google. I mean, this is honestly, this chart looks freaking crazy. It's not like this is a perfect exhaustion candle where I would be looking to get short after this, and then you get this squeeze higher today. Luckily, I had no position here because this is actually a setup I would probably take with size. You know, fully extended from the daily EMA. And I would have been squeezed today, would have come back to me, but we're just now back testing the bullish EMA on the daily. So you just very recently got momentum confirmation on the weekly here as well. I mean, this look with the market melting the way it is, this probably comes lower. As someone who sold all my shares at the at like low 290s, like I didn't get the high exactly. Maybe high 280s is when I sold it. I would like to see this do a more substantial pullback to 260. But there's not great confirmations of that. I mean, even the daily, yeah, you're not getting RSI confirmations here, but you can run a bit longer, get a bit more extended before you pull back. There's just easier shorts if you're looking for a short. If you're a long-term holder, quite honestly, I was a long-term holder. I rode this from the like a 150 something average, I think, and rode it all the way up here. And I'm wishing I kind of still held it even into this weakness. Yeah, it's got some action. It's got that Buffett touch to it. You know, people hear that, you know, even though Buffett's retired, it's not him buying it. It's one of his managers buying it. But people hear about, you know, Hathaway buying something, and suddenly it's got a new shine to it. Because boomers love doing whatever Buffett does, regardless of when, how, where, why. Can we also just take a step back and say today's absolutely nuts? I mean, absolutely nutty day, man. Like I locked in most of my put profits. I'm having it. I mean, best day and for the small account, it's the best day ever. It's the best day we've ever had. And the main account, it's the best day I've probably had in months and months, man. Months and months. Got Discord coming here. Oh, Tesla testing 398 was something we talked with Discord members about getting short again. It's testing it right here. Okay. This is where selling could accelerate. So I had a big Tesla put position that I took profits on this morning, and I told members I was going to roll it if we broke 238 here, and we're breaking below yesterday's lows. We're getting confirmation on the 65-minute. So, you know, I think we're probably going to end up going to, you know, and I'm going to buy the weeklies here. Dangerous. What do I want to buy here? I got good liquidity everywhere. How much did we make earlier? I should probably just play with profits on this. We made 164. could buy for the 335s with just the profits and look for an extension. Look for a quick plunge on the weekly. I still got a 6 delta. It's not amazing, but in the small account, that's probably what I should do. All right. I'm gonna do that. It's not ideal, but it's what we gotta do to keep risk management alive in the small account. I'm gonna buy one of those just with the profits we made earlier today. I don't want to really give anything back on an amazing day, so I just want to play with house money on that. And then in the main account, I think I'm gonna buy the 360s. We're up 40% here on Apple, by the way. I'm not gonna close the Decembers we took, but I am gonna close my 260s, my 260 weeklies for Apple here. Just making sure I'm locking in some profits along the way. Make an extra note. People are wondering why I bought so far out of the money with Tesla. It's purely just using profits we already had. Just with music, I'm getting all the confirmations going lower, but we've already made so much, and we are pretty extended. So we could get a further plunge to the downside on the day, but I'd be here for swinging things, worried about like a gap up that I could add into, or that could potentially squeeze me more than I expect, especially if that leads to a volatility rug. Like, okay, here's the things you got to think about with options. Like your VIX is at 27. Everything we're buying here is inflated like crazy, especially on the put side, right? So even if tomorrow we open and we're just where we're at today, you're probably going to be down pretty substantially if the VIX comes down. You know, if everything stays the same, but VIX comes down 3 points, it's still elevated. It's still very bearish. You're going to be down 20, 30%. Like, you got to understand how the Vega affects the contracts. So you don't want to take a ton of sizing. You're always better waiting for bounces and then taking the shorts. But it's a major key level on Tesla here. And the 65 is giving confirmation. So you got to kind of thread the needle there on the nuance for how to play it. I'll probably just convince myself to wait for the main account here. CCJ up 11%. That's playing out well. Let's take a partial on Apple here for the December 5th puts we bought, because it is a nice 40%. It's getting a little stagnant here. Let's look at the 15-minute and see how much it got. Nah, it looks fine. Okay, I forgot. Was there a stock we were going to look at? What did I just say? Good. I got distracted by that alert. Let me see if someone will remind me. Not seeing it on Kick. Not seeing anything on YouTube. I don't remember what we're looking at, but I have a request here for IonQ, so we'll look at that. And just so I don't get distracted, I want to know if Apple reclaims that level there, because it'll be a stop. Otherwise, I'm fine just letting it run. That's ugly, man. You know, just at a glance, like, we're super extended, but you just broke a major key level. So, you know, what is extended could get more extended when you do something like that. I wouldn't short here, though. It's a little too exuberant. I mean, that weekly is... You know, honestly, looking at this chart, this thing does not trade like most stocks, though. I mean, look at the way that it can extend and then just kind of be just kind of sideways chop. Uh, you just broke your monthly momentum. You're about to break your monthly bullish support. This might be dead. Um, that's looking dead. There's a ton of like consolidation in this. Yeah, you're better just wait. You know, another test at 47 gives you an entry with a really tight stop. And then honestly, it's easier to wait for the break of 38 rather than trading into the this massive consolidation range. This 5 point consolidation range. If you break that, that's a super easy short. I have an alert, looks like an old alert here, set at 36.69 as a short, where you break that, you're potentially going all the way to like 10-15 bucks, way down here. So yeah, I wouldn't touch that. It's kind of in no man's land. I don't see any edge there. I don't see any confirmations. um Gold, I mean, gold and silver both look like they want to come down a little bit more. You know, there's been a bunch of upgrades on gold from the big banks. Actually, if you've been paying attention to the headlines, and it hasn't got a reaction whatsoever. It's been pretty dead. So, I mean, that's like it doesn't look compelling. It doesn't look like I should be a buyer or a seller here. Your daily's flipping, but I think last I looked, the 2 day is actually giving a bearish confirmation, while the daily's giving a bullish confirmation. So, what does that tell me as a trader? That this shit's going sideways. Uh, so, which wouldn't be too atypical. It does these periods of consolidation in between rallies, right? And this one, I mean, what is that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 month. It's basically 5 month consolidation before the next leg higher. You could be set up for another, consolidation period like that. So let that shit rest. It looks like I've got alerts above and below, and that's until that triggers. I'm not really paying attention to it, quite honestly. I'm not going to stare at something that's sideways. It will call my attention when it deserves it. PayPal. Okay. I don't think I've looked at this in a really long time. That is, I need to stop being like, whoa, because of course everything's down. But it's still crazy to see how brutal everything looks here. Man, this level is just doing. Yeah, I hope you're not long, because I would not be long. This doesn't even look like a value buy. When things like plunge like this and they fail all reclaims, um, I mean, you're not even doing a major fib test there. I mean, this thing's dead. It's dead. Um, wow, wow. It's a decent. I mean, you're just now flipping bearish on your monthly too, so get ready. PayPal in the 30s, totally possible. Totally possible. The consumer's dying. Not only is the consumer dying, but they were too slow to adopt the crypto rails. Um, yeah, people aren't buying things with PayPal. They're buying things with Affirm, which probably also doesn't look good here. Yeah, Affirm looks awful. This this thing was a tough trade, to be honest with you. I was looking at a denial on this trend line, and it gave me this wonky pop on that earnings. And I wanted that because of how weak Upstart was, and Klarna uh, was also super weak. Is that not how you KLR? Yeah, like this thing just this. Oh wow! Actually, I didn't see that. I didn't even know they had earnings recently. Yeah, I knew it was weak because the consumer's so weak. This is what AI is covering up, guys. This is what no one's talking about. And it is irresponsible not to talk about it. Because this is why, retail rallies aren't happening. This is why crypto's so weak. This is why liquidity's such ass. Retail led the rally, and the consumer data kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to the extent that the upper 10% of earners were making up over 50% of all the spending. I mean, that's two red flags in the air. God, I'm so preachy. It's unbearable. I can't believe anyone's watching me. I just keep going on my pedestal. Fucking get over yourself, man. Okay, let's see let's see some more tickers. Had a real introspective moment there. Oh, let's look at these Apple puts. They're looking pretty good right here. Stagnant. CCJ up 13%. Netflix up 6% since we took it. We need to get Netflix up here. No, yeah, that's a nice breakdown. That's real nice. Yeah. Um. Hmm. Yep. Tesla giving the fall through as well. We're over $1,000 on the small account now here. I guess you guys are just staring at charts. I could move this over again. 6,400, 1,000 on the day. I might actually just take profits on this Apple here. I'm happy with that. Quite honestly, I don't know. Does the chart say sell? How extended is this thing on the 65 minute? It's pretty extended, man. There's gotta be let me close that. Yep, I'm a nerd. Now you guys know. Secret's out. We can I'm gonna close these. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy with the 40%. And then yeah. Okay. I got 500. Oh, I think I just broke a good faith violation. Whoops. It's okay. We'll be at 20K before that probably becomes a problem, a huge problem. Let me move this back over because I want to manage the main account now here. And I want to close some of these here too. Wow, days like today, man, it's like you just can't stop making money. With CCJ even here with that position we took, you're up 15%. You can take some partials there. I took partials on Apple in the main account, but we'll let some run. We'll let it run. Let it rock. Let it roll. Let them know. Let them know. Wow. Okay. Let me check chats. Get a little caught up. Oops. Uh, Sold the eyeball for another 45%. I forgot to notify Discord when I did that. My main account's automated through Schwab's API, but my small account, I screenshot everything. Because having two accounts paired, I guess we could pair them both, but the way we've got the environment set up on AWS, it kind of makes it bug out. Let me just screenshot all these positions for members and just show them where we're sitting right now. Okay, let's see. We got any requests? Any requests on the line? Looking for callers. Looking for callers and looking for tickers. If not, we're just going to keep running through stuff. You know what I haven't looked at it in a while that I wanted to review was Airbnb. Airbnb is one of those companies that's using a Chinese AI now. Yikes. Another bad earnings. You know, it's a cool concept, cool company, you know? It's one of my losers though. I bought this on the IPO. Sold it. Bought this. Didn't sell it. Sold it here when I bought it. One second, let me answer these questions, these Discord questions. Um, and they're asking how much the small account's at now, which is 4,600. All right. I love it when everyone gets hyped. It gets me hyped. Can't get too hyped. You can't get too hyped. On days like today, I'm up shit ton of money on across all accounts, which is why I'm trying to do the least right here. Because the worst thing you could do is get super hyped and then overtrade. You know, you just got to take it day by day and say, okay, I've made it more today than I usually make, you know, over the course of a few weeks. So I should probably just chill, give thanks, you know, give thanks to God for the great day, and put me in the right mindset to act upon that day. And just count the blessings rather than chase the price action too much. Right? Like it's super dangerous to get carried away on days like today. Airbnb, by the way, I mean, this just looks freaking awful. Looks freaking awful. Probably comes back to 100, but it's just not. It's not clean. It's pretty extended, like everything else to the downside here. So we just really need to see what tomorrow brings us. If we're going to get a bounce for another re-entry. But honestly, a day like today probably burns most retail out. So they're probably pretty scared to touch this at this point. They all FOMO'd into the open based on the flows. And then this is all the panic selling that, you know, from buyers in the past 2 days, getting slowly churned out of the market. Gosh, yeah. I mean, we can clean this up a little bit. and that's probably where you just bounced off this. So maybe this is the bounce. Honestly, maybe 65 minutes telling me it's not. We're not even oversold in the 65-minute. Which, I mean, you got to understand how ludicrous it is, because we're down 3% from the highs, and this thing's not even oversold. That is insanity. Absolute insanity. The hell kind of question is that? I'm married with a kid. I am not gay. Asshole. You like the hand move? Trump has hand movements. You got you know, a lot of you love him. A lot of you also hate him, but because I talk with my hands, is that what it was? Get that dumbass question out of here. It was funny, I'm not gonna lie. Jake, you got a ticker for me? I see her hanging out in the Discord, which, by the way, guys, when I do these live streams and stuff, or when we do the podcast live, we are hanging out in public chats in the Discord. You don't need to be a paying member. You just need to be a member of the Discord, and you can always hop in here and ask us questions and stuff. And I see that we have a few people hanging out. Jake, are you actually there? Or are you on mute?
Yeah, I'm here.
You got anything you want me to look at? How did you make some money today?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we got some good money today.
Hell yeah.
Those Tesla puts came back from real well, and then also took profits on some HIMS puts.
Nice.
But have you looked at HIMS yet? By the way, I joined a little late. But
Have you looked at what?
have you
Hems?
looked at HIMS yet?
Oh, no
Yeah.
one said Hems. We can look at Hems.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that previous low looks spooky. Spooky. It's trying to set a bottom here. And it's pretty extended on the selling. Yeah, you bought puts to cover your shares, right?
Correct.
Right. There's a gap down to 30. That'd be a little suspicious of, but you're already deep into buyer's territory. Still really good revenue. This is still a great company.
Yeah, I have been averaging down long term on the way down.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? I might do some averaging here soon too, because yeah, that's stupid extended on the weekly, man. It was stupid extended. I think yeah, I wouldn't short it here anymore. But under 34, you're probably gonna get another quick plunge to the downside. So I'll set an alert for it, but I'd say your risk reward is more favored from the upside from here rather than downside. I am pretty biased because I think this is a great company.
Right.
Yeah, that chart does
I'm
not.
all in for it.
That chart does not say higher, but it's also there's easier shorts to take, and it looks fine for long-term holders. Like I wouldn't sell here if you are looking for exit. You for people watching this on the live streams, like if you're in HIMS right now and you're wanting to get out, like what do you do when something's at this level? What I would be doing is I wouldn't be looking to exit here if I was a bag holder. I'd be looking for that EMA retest. We're deeply oversold, not on the RSI, but on the EMAs. You gotta view these EMA clouds kind of like VWAPs. Like if you're a short-term futures trader, that makes perfect sense to you. For some of you, it might not. But the market loves to retest these levels. Think of it like they gotta come visit home real quick. Okay, they get extended, they come back and test. You know, we could see that repeatedly. Gets extended, comes back and retests, gets extended, back and retests. And you retest these levels and you say, are there buyers or sellers here? You know, the red one is the super bearish EMA. And it's very likely from here that we get some sort of green candle that comes back and back tests it. And then the market asks, hey, are we still sellers here? And if they shove it back down, then it could be a great short with a really tight stop. Okay. If you blow through that, so if this blows through this convergence, you can see the weekly bullish convergence is crossing with the bearish convergence. If you blow through that convergence over 47, market's telling you, hey, we're not only buyers here, but we love it here. Okay. And that could be a really strong long entry from a full confirmation of the reversal there. And that could be something that develops a new trend when you break through those types of convergences, especially on longer time frames. That could be something that persists for a month, 2 months, so be mindful of that too. But I love these EMAs just as I kind of use them as a sentiment gauge of, okay, we're really extended, so people are probably a little emotional here. We probably just need that's what people often refer to as a mean revision. That's what VWAP is great for those mean revisions. Okay, the mood's pretty exaggerated here. Let's go back to a norm and then see how we feel from there. Right. Viewers, can you type 1 in the chat? That made sense. Is everyone on the same page? That makes sense. You learned something there? Or are you already a trader and you're like, yeah, he's talking that sauce right now. He's talking that straight sauce right now. Because I know, regardless of what kind of trader you are, if you're profitable, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But for new guys, that might be a new concept. All right, good. Anything else, Jake? I don't see anything in the chat right now. Oh, we got a comment here in the Discord. I should look at that. Okay. Yep. You got anything for me, Jake? Anything else? Any other
No, I should be all good. Yeah,
Okay.
I just look because I think I'm gonna make him in a bigger positions over there. Well, before the end of the year.
Nice. CRM? Yeah. Ew. Salesforce? I'm pretty sure this looks awful. Yeah, it does. It looks really awful. I really like the CEO here though, and they were supposedly testing out, because who's the CEO? Isn't it Mark Anderson or something? Or maybe it's a more foreign last name than that. It was like something European. Andreessen or something. Let me look it up. It's bugging me. Okay, I can't type right now. Oh, not at all. Mark Benoff. Benoff. So I don't know who I was thinking of. Wasn't Mark though, with a C. I actually really like that guy. I watched a podcast with him, and they're doing some cool stuff with like voice AIs. I gotta imagine that kind of dominates the space. That's probably where we're headed, is AI customer service, which honestly I'm on board for. But this chart looks, just straight up bearish. If you were going to bounce right here's where you should bounce. And if you don't, if you get a continuation, you blow through these levels. You're at the level. So the way I'd hit, there's a few stocks that we looked at this. And I guess I should put what do you do if tomorrow we open and we break through the low today? I would chase it with, you could probably even chase it with 0 DTEs, or you could chase it with weeklies. And that would just be a continuation setup. Okay. And you would want something like, you would want to see something like, let's say, this is the market close, and then after hours looks something like this. And then this is the market open, and you do something like this. You come and you perfectly test that relative high and then dump, or even break out, fail and dump. Boom. I take the short right there. And then I look for the lows to break. If you get a bounce off the lows, that's a cut. If you break through the lows, potentially you can size up. Like that's how I would handle that, because you're already at the key level. If you're gonna bounce, it should be a pretty aggressive bounce. If you're not gonna bounce, if you're gonna turn some of these short term, if these short term resistances persist, then I'll look for a continuation. Look for that knee jerk momentum, quick scalp in and out intraday type of move. And I'd be a little bit more cautious about continuations because of where everything's at. Like, it's pretty extended, you know. But honestly, something like this probably wouldn't be a top idea for me. Just because I don't like how clean these key levels are. Quite honestly, this is really just kind of a messy chart. So I'd probably look for easier stuff to trade, and you have earnings ahead of you rather than behind you. Who actually, you know, Charter, I think, was an amazing short that did something similar. Yeah, I mean, so like Charter under 255 was just a absolute brilliant top tier, picture perfect. Look at this level. You know, you got this level going all the way back to 2018. You break it, and look at the way that thing plummets. That's a picture perfect A plus. Doesn't get better than that setup. To see that level break right there. And I mean, look at that price action. Nothing but money all the way down. Right? Study that one. Take notes. Review it. What was the trigger? Was there any indications it was going to get follow through? There were. It was confluence. The confluence that we always talk about with the TTM and the momentum. Right? You see the way the monthly flipped and then this thing puked right through it? Ooh, yikes. And you had the confluence. You had the confluence. See, right here, you don't have the confluence of the daily, but here the daily starts to flip. And I bet it didn't in tandem with the weekly. You see that? You see the way it works? It's beautiful. We got any other any tickers? We got an hour and a half. Let's actually look at the broad market. Look at some of these positions. Looks like we're starting to bounce here. Let's look at the 15 minutes. See if the 15 minutes rolled over. Not yet. 10 minute. That might be your low. That might be your low for the day. Right there. You see that starting to flip? We got a higher low on the RSI. It could just be a reset for more lows tomorrow. That's probably most likely. But the low might be in for today. So we might just do a very weak bounce into the close. Or something like you come and you test this bearish EMA and you get a rejection into the close. In which case, probably gap down tomorrow. Ooh. Wow. Okay, let me look at my open positions, make sure there's not anything that I'm forgetting about, because we had a pretty active day. Small count looks fine. Ooh, Tesla bouncing more than I'd like to see, but this is why we didn't take much size. I never set it up in the mini count. CCJ, Netflix, I'm fine with keeping on. It came in small. Things still look like they want continuations until tomorrow. I should actually get SNTK off of here. I guess I'll make a note of that for viewers. SNDK. This looks dead. So let's see here. We did come back into the weekly support. But you still could have another 20 points of downside. It all depends on what the 2 days showing no signs of life. No signs of life. Looks like the selling has just begun. Easily could have another down. You know what this looks like? First of all, this looks, I mean, it does not get, okay, really important, guys. Okay, if you're a newer trader, study this chart. Okay? I want you to screenshot it, print it out, put it on a wall, and say, This is what a euphoric breakdown looks like. Okay? Because honestly, this thing's picture perfect. If you look up what the what's that the I don't remember. I think there's a name for it, but that shit. What's the meme? Market cycle. Holy cow! I cannot type right now. Emotions, psychology. Aha, aha. This. Uh-huh. You remember this? Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. And look at this. Look at this. And then look at this. Then look at this. And then look at this. Picture perfect. Peak top. Pukes. Fails to reclaim the highs. And then you get the real downside move. This is just a retracement back to the belt bullish price action. When it confirms to meet the high, boom, massive exhaustion candle. That's actually, if this was actually a perfect example, this is actually typically what you see is you see those exhaustion candles, you get that big impulsive move to the upside, and then on the same day, you retrace most of that move back to the downside. That's an exhaustion of buyers. Okay. And then boom, massive puke out of it. I don't know fundamentally about this company, but if it's, I don't know, if it's a really speculative name, it could totally end up looking like Oklo here. Oklo picture, another picture perfect. Actually, this looks a lot more like that image because you only got one peak. That one peak turned into a massive exhaustion candle, and this thing just puked it all up. The reclaim didn't come until much later because it was so dead. Since this top candle was so weak, this is really your reclaim to try and get the highs. And all it did was just turn into like a goofy head and shoulders before puking through the neckline, which was your right here. So, and honestly, this thing could still go lower. It could still go to the 80s. It could still go to the 60s. Yeah, management really fucked up by not doing a share offering at, they could have done it at 130, 160, 170, 180, 190, and then they did it down here at like 110, like freaking morons. They could have secured the bag because they need a ton of money and they don't have the cash for the future developments they got to do. And then they have trouble raising money after, things started to roll over. And right now they would probably start to really struggle with all the fear rippling through the market. Yeah. So, they didn't take the profits and the euphoria. I think they're trying to time a high. Stupid. You get the money when it's easy, exactly. Like they basically are like amateur traders, quite honestly. Very stupid. Yeah, hope that makes sense, guys. I think we've gone over enough lessons. We took a few winning trades. Honestly, this bounce is failing. I'd call this atypical. 10 minutes still tells me, even with this thing looking like it wants to set a new low, 10 minutes still telling me that the low's probably in for the day. I honestly don't know if the probabilities change when you get when you clear out the full ATR to the upside and to the downside, because I imagine probabilities start to get a little wonky, or at least there's some variance for an outside move like today. Yeah, so we've done 261% of the average movement for SPY here. We cleared out the full upside, cleared out the full downside. So there's got to be there's probably some variance there that I'm just not aware of. But typically, on an average day, I would say bottom probably end. Same thing for like up days when the 10 minute starts to roll over. I would say, highs probably end. If I have the appetite for it, or if it looks like it's extremely overbought, sometimes I'll go for a short into the close with some 0 DTEs for some, some fun and games. But that's all we got. I don't think I have any other. Really don't have any other comments. Just gonna kind of sit on the hands, let some stuff play out. Flocked in most of the profits, sitting mostly cash. I'll give a few more. I'll give another minute here and see if we have any other questions. It's about 174 viewers across the social medias: YouTube, Kick, Facebook, and X. Flipping through these and looking for any questions. Ask me whatever you want. What's my best? What's my favorite trade right now? What's my top strategy? You know, how big is my foot? Size 13. I'm a big man. And that's a wrap. Okay. Thank you all for coming by. You know, I hope this was helpful. That's always the intention. I didn't go live just to brag, but to provide some insights. I like to go live and just give some commentary when I can tell that there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of aimlessness, a lot of people scrolling, going through comment sections with lost puppy type comments. And I like to provide some insights and help. Insights and help, not some. Well, I mean, you are invited. You're invited to go check out the free newsletter where we talked about how this would happen today as the most likely outcome. So, MBT Daily Edge over on Substack. Links in my bio. You can check that out. You can also go read our short report on what aspects of AI we think are bubbly, because we don't think it's a broad bubble, but it is enough to get a reaction like this out of the market. Another one in the future, most likely. So, ciao. I don't see anything else. Let me check one more time. Yep, that's it. Have a great night, guys. All right. God bless. If you make good money today, count your blessings. Be thankful. If you lost a bunch of money today, you know, just walk away from the charts, man. Walk away from the streams. Go watch a feel-good movie. Go watch some stand-up comedy on YouTube and just chill out for the rest of the day. Don't think about the market. Don't think about the drama, the politics, none of that. Just step away from it. If you're down bad today and you're getting emotional and you're angry, just step away from it. Maybe for a few days. It doesn't matter what the market does, man. Or if you miss today, it don't matter. There's going to be tons of days like this. The thing about such a big market is there is infinite opportunities. There's never a need for FOMO at any given moment at all. You know, that FOMO mindset comes from a mindset of scarcity, but we live in a world of abundance. So, flip that mindset and understand that you could miss a day. You could miss a trade. You could miss a dozen trades. You could miss a dozen days. You could miss half the year. And when you come back to the market, everything will still be there and it'll still be endless possibilities and opportunities for you. Okay? At any given time, regardless of what's going on, it's not the end of the world. It's also not the best thing ever. Okay? So, God bless. Go do good works. Okay? Have a good night. Oh.